This is strange, isn't it? I mean, didn't the Democrats and a lot of journalists warn us that Donald Trump would be a dictator on day one and start arresting his enemies? You mean they lied to us again? But here it happened. It's same all over again. Trump has a genius for making his enemies go nuts and hysterical and a little bit dictatorial themselves. You take the Episcopalian bishop of the Washington National Cathedral. This woman, whose angry eyes might just tell you a bit about her politics, she abused her position at the pulpit to give Donald Trump a political lecture. She's above, in this screen you're going to see, and Vice President Vance and Trump's reaction you will see below.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives.
And there's more of the same, really, at Trump's press conference today. His second in 2 days, mind you, when Joe Biden gave almost none. So you think journalists would at least be grateful, they'd welcome this opening up, this new accountability. But for some, it was war all over again.
Their lives have been ruined, and in many cases, listen to me for a second, stop interrupting. We won this election in a landslide because the American public is tired of people like you that are just one-sided, horrible people in terms of crime. You don't talk about all the people that have been killed and what happens to those murderers.
But the absolute worst is the media left going crazy about Trump's new best friend and advisor, Elon Musk, owner of X, supposedly giving Nazi salutes at Trump's inauguration rally yesterday. Here is how CNN presented it.
I just want to look at that salute that he gave again, just if anybody missed it, we'll just show it again. He's just wrapped up here. You can hear the... All right, so we just showed that. We just showed that.
Right. It's worth
salute.
Democrat politicians went ape, of course. Heil Hitler salute, said Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Democrat Senator Chris Evans, among others, said the same.
What do you think of Elon Musk, perhaps the president's most visible advisor, doing 2 Heil Hitler salutes last night at the president's televised rally?
Let me show you now the full footage. Let me expose the lie. Musk is actually pro-Israel, and he met Israel's president and relatives of Jewish hostages. And what CNN left out shows that Musk was actually offering the crowd there his heart.
Thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
I mean, really, joining me is Rowan Dean, Editor-in-Chief of The Spectator Australia and host of Outsiders, here on Sky News every Sunday at 9 a.m. Plus, there's this new show, by the way, The World According to Rowan Dean, on Fridays at 7 p.m. Rowan, great to see you again. First, that smearing of Elon Musk. You know, all right, if you cut the image short, looks like a Nazi salute. It clearly is not a Nazi. He's a sympathiser of Israel, strange Nazi. So you've got to be deranged to think he is one. And when you look at the context, I mean, really, it's clearly he's not intending to do anything of the kind. So are these journalists and politicians who say, oh, he's giving a Nazi salute, are they mad or simply liars?
Well, probably a bit of both, but above all, they are desperate. The Democrats, the left wing, the woke, whatever you want to call them, crowd, they've reached the very bottom of the barrel. There's nothing left in their armory. They have absolutely nothing. It's taken them 8 years of throwing everything they possibly could, from the lowest sort of grubby insult to the full body of courtrooms and judges and law cases and everything. They've tried to throw everything at Donald Trump. And now they've got nothing. The American people have said, we're not interested in your smears on Donald Trump. So what have they done? They've got to turn to the next person. They tried with J.D. Vance, but the American public like him as well. So they're now looking, they can't attack Vivek Ramaswamy because that would be racist, obviously. So they're looking around, oh, Elon Musk, he's a high-profile figure of Donald Trump's. Let's attack him. And pretty much anything Elon Musk is going to do will now come under savage attack from the left. Fortunately, Elon is too big and too wealthy to care, and this is the problem the Democrats have. To call that a Hitler salute was laughable. He was throwing his heart out to the crowd, a dramatic gesture. That they really are not only scraping the bottom of the barrel for their insults. The reality, Andrew, is that this sort of stuff works with some people. So some people who want to think that Donald Trump is the devil incarnate and want to think that Elon Musk is a Nazi and so on and so forth, they will just regurgitate what they hear on the news. And they will repeat it, as you showed those journalists doing. And they'll go, oh, he's a Nazi, he's a Nazi. But for the broad public of America, they've heard this stuff over and over again, and it just reinforces how correct they were to vote for Donald Trump and his team.
I mean, it was strange Nazi. He's explained on TV how he's got a pendant around his neck that a mother of a hostage gave him, a Jewish hostage being held by Hamas, and he swore that he would never remove it until the last hostage was released. It's a very strange Nazi that's, you know, carrying mementos, praying for the return of Jewish hostages. So when they say that it's a Nazi salute, they must know this. I'm sure most of those guys know this. They are lying about him. They are lying. It's just so sick. But then to this bishop lecturing Trump in what's supposedly a religious gathering, giving a political lecture. She went on and on. Here's more.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
For heaven's sake, Rowan, he is not closing the border to children fleeing persecution and war. It's closing the border to adults walking across the Rio Grande. Is she preaching the gospel or abusing her position? And speaking of abusing position, why do so many of the left do exactly that?
Exactly. Well, the best part of that clip that you just played, and in fact of the whole service, was the supreme self-discipline of the entire Trump team, family, J.D. Vance, all of them, who kept straight faces. And just narrowly avoided kind of rolling their eyes and go, well, I'd have been up and out of there. I'd been, sorry, I got a, sorry, madam, I've got another appointment now. I'd have been gone. But no, they stayed. They kept their cool. And, you could see J.D. Vance was kind of thinking, what is this? What's that? So the comedy element far outweighed anything else on that. And I think, again, the only people who walk away demeaned from that sort of thing is, unfortunately, the Anglican Church itself for putting such a clown in as bishop. But that's the woke Anglican Church for you these days. There's nothing wrong with, of course, the church talking to those in power and those at the highest level, and the church saying, here's here's Jesus' teachings, and make sure you're adhering to them, et cetera, et cetera. That's the role of the church. But the inauguration, to pick a policy and then to go straight in on transgender stuff, which, again, I don't pretend to be a theologian, but I'm pretty certain that there are aspects of religious teachings that perhaps the lovely, fragrant bishop might want to read up again, just to refamiliarize herself with certain aspects.
I don't. But even ignoring that part, I mean, to misrepresent the Trump policies, like, transgender children are now going to be in fear of being killed under Donald Trump. I mean, give me a break. It's
also child abuse, Andrew.
But
yeah,
I know, I agree with you. You're right. But one other thing, I mean, there's something serious. I want to touch on something that was discussed with the panel, a difference. I showed earlier 3 tech billionaires saying they were investing $500 billion US in an artificial energy project because, one of the reasons, apparently Trump making sure there's enough electricity for a start, okay? Meanwhile, our richest person, Gina Reinhart, who has been a super patriot, we all know that, sponsoring Australian athletes, rah-rahing Australia, all that kind of thing. She is now looking for investment opportunities in America, saying she's looking to invest billions because it's a new land of opportunity after warning for years the governments here were so anti-business that they were forcing companies to go overseas. And now you see it even with her. What do you make of this?
Oh, Andrew, it's heartbreaking. You have someone like Gina Reinhart who, pretty much single-handedly gave Jim Chalmers his surplus for the last couple of years through her iron ore and other mining profits. And people like that, people like Gina Reinhart, Australia should be cherishing in the same way that Donald Trump is cherishing his billionaires and entrepreneurs, recognizing that we all benefit from their investment and their hard work and the companies they build up. It's heartbreaking to think that here in Australia, we are so dumb, so myopic, so stupid that the Labor government is turning its back, closing down, all our great resource industries, putting the money on these kind of the fake ideas like green hydrogen, windmills, solar panels, all this rubbish. And we are destroying the very prosperity that made this nation so great, to the extent that the billionaires like Gina Reinhart are going, America, that's where the action is. That's where the money is to be made. That's where the investments are guaranteed to return a profit. And Australia increasingly is not living up to that. When you think what we could be, Andrew, what we could be and what people like Gina Reinhart are urging us to be, and our governments just so stupidly turns its back on it.
Oh, absolutely. It's just sensational. We have so much oil and gas and uranium and coal. And for some strange reason, we're telling ourselves we can't use any of it. I mean, it's just the most crazy
we even
thing
don't mind gold.
seen.
We don't mind gold. We ban
cancel the
gold mines.
Absolutely.
If that doesn't tell you how utterly moronic the people leading the nation.
No.
Exactly. But we don't want any gold.
Rowan Dean, thanks for your time.